Welcome to another episode of The Unconventional Path. And this week we are talking about ROI, the Millionaire Summit by Rachel Rodgers. I'm giving you all the tea. Before we jump into this episode, I want to give a shout out to Jiggy Studios. Thank you so much for allowing us to shoot in your podcast room. And a shout out to LaShann Ferguson, our makeup artist for our page. Okay, so we're jumping into ROI. I want to give you some updates on what that experience was like. I went to Puerto Rico for the very first time. All right, it's 5:16 and I am headed on the flight for day one for ROI. Puerto Rico, here we go. Actually, this is about to be a life-changing experience, guys. Let's go. Let me just say, it was amazing. Like, from the minute I touched down in Puerto Rico, I was like, one of the things for me was like, it's so Americanized. Like, I really didn't expect, like, I know Puerto Rico is an American colony, but the fact that I looked like I was in Florida again, I was like, what? Apparently you have to go into the island in the South area to get the real island feel. But that was just like a real shock for me. Like, everything that you see in Florida, the Walmart, the Costco's, the Cheesecake Factory, everything that you see there, all of the highways, that's how it looks in Puerto Rico. So that was just like mind-blowing for me. But anyway, let's talk about how I got to ROI with Rachel Rodgers. And Rachel Rodgers has a book that's called We Should All Be Millionaires. I did not read the book. I think the book came out like a year ago or maybe a year or two ago. And it's called We Should All Be Millionaires. And she has a membership group, and through this membership group, the persons that are part of it learn through her business coaching how to build better businesses. And she was on a podcast that I just recently started re-listening to in January of this year. It's called Side Hustle Pro. And so I heard her story on Side Hustle Pro 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, and I was like, who is this woman? Her energy, what she went through in business, like how she invested in her business when she started, the knowledge she knew, I was just like, I gotta know more. So I did some deep digging, and I found out she was having a conference in Puerto Rico. And I was just like, who gonna pay all that money to go to Puerto Rico in 2 weeks? Me. Because it would not leave me. Like, I was praying and I was just like, every day I woke up and I felt like I need to be there. I need to be there. I need to be there. I went and checked plane tickets. A plane ticket to Puerto Rico round trip from the Bahamas was $300. Yes, $300. So I was like, this plane ticket only $300. I feel like this is a sign. And then I went to the group and I saw some people I knew, and then it just wouldn't leave me. So I was like, this is a huge investment for my business. I'm gonna have to go into my savings to be able to pay for this. But I just felt like the knowledge that I was gonna learn this week was gonna be mind blowing. And I'm telling you, friends, it was. So what happened? So when I got into Puerto Rico day one, I was a little upset because around 10:30, I found out that the tour that I had planned for that day was going to be moved down by 2.5 hours. So I kept going back and forth with the tour guide of I'm going, I'm not going, I'm going, I'm not going, because that was my only day to see Puerto Rico. So eventually I said, I'm gonna go, and I missed the Schmilly sermons. That's the people that are part of the membership group who've been in there for more than a year. It was about 5 of them telling their stories of where their business was before they started working with Rachel Rodgers to where the business is now. So they were testimonies of how their businesses transformed. So it was gonna be a really good session, but I had to choose, and I didn't want to miss out. And the tour was 5 hours. So I went on the tour, and the tour was so amazing. I booked this tour, and they switched the time, so I almost didn't come. But we've just finished our hour drive up to the rainforest. And already the drive up was just like super hilarious. I'm gonna introduce you to everybody on the tour, but I'm so glad I came. Like, I feel like it's gonna be so fun, and I haven't even done it yet. It's just, people are just so amazing. Stay tuned.
You're straight, man. What's up?
Hey, go ahead. Like the dead. Here, B, go with it. Go ahead, B, go with it. Go ahead, B, go with it.
Amazing. I met some amazing friends from all over the world. There were 3 of us who were traveling solo and 1 couple, and the 5 of us just had a blast. It was just so amazing. Our tour guide was awesome. I'm going to put his name and his tour company. If you go to Puerto Rico, you got to check him out. That's going to be right there. Make sure to go there. But we went to the waterfalls, and we drove up. It was about an hour drive to the waterfalls. And when we got to the waterfalls, we took some photos, some group photos, and then we climbed up on the rocks and went down the slide of the waterfall. And we went down, and we had to learn how to go down because some people were like rolling over and going on their side. And I was just like, nope, that's not gonna happen to me. But it was just an amazing experience, like going down the waterfall, seeing nature, taking the photos. Like it was just a beautiful experience. Like I said, it was about an hour drive there. And then after that, of going around the waterfall and hiking and we jump off a cliff, it was just amazing. It was just, I just can't describe how great it was. Like, and I just don't think like you should go to a country and don't experience the country. So even though I missed the Schmilly sermons, I still think it was worth it because, you know, that experience was just to die for. And we drove down after that to a place that had a lot of souvenir shops and a lot of like restaurants. It reminds me of Port Lakai and Freeport and probably Fish Fry in Nassau. And so when we went to those locations, we were able to try some food. They have a lot of fried food in Puerto Rico, which I'm not trying to eat a lot of fried food, but I tasted it. So it was like this, I think I had like a stuffed crab and I think I had something that had lobster in it, but they were all breaded, but it was really, really good. Got some souvenirs, and then it was time to head to my first ROI experience, the welcome party.
Reached the end of our tour. We're walking about getting some souvenirs. I got some souvenirs because the next 2 days I'm about to learn because $1 million idea is about to be birthed this week. I am so glad I did this tour. So glad I got to see Puerto Rico. Sun's about to set, and gonna head to the welcome party, and then the next 2 days, all about that knowledge.
So I got to the welcome party and I had to go to the bathroom and change and get ready in 30 minutes to go up to the welcome party because I had already missed the Schmilly sermons. So I went to the welcome party and it was great. Like what I loved about meeting people at ROI is everybody was just ready and primed for networking. You literally, I think everyday life, if you go somewhere, you can't walk up to somebody and say, what do you do? How can I be of service to you? Or how can you be of service to me? And let me find out more about your business. Let me learn more about your life and where you're from. That doesn't happen in everyday life. But at ROI, the whole week, you could walk up to random strangers and everybody's like ready, hungry for conversation. What do you do? I own a Pilates studio. We run festivals. We own, like, I'm a lawyer. Like, I just was meeting so many amazing people who had different businesses all over the world and were trying to upgrade their business. And the best thing I think about the welcome party is that I got a photo with Rachel Rodgers. I was so excited. So the girl that's in the photo with me that you're looking at her name is Ashley. And they told us that the photos were done. Like Rachel's not taking any more photos. It's time for her to go. And I was about to walk away. And Ashley said, she's going to take a picture with me. I'm going to wait and she's going to take, I was like, you know what? I like your motivation. I like the fact that you are believing in this. And I said, Ashley, maybe that we should, you know, take the photo together to make sure that she gives us this photo. So she said, okay, that was the last one, but maybe we can do a group one. And we said, we're already ready for it, Rachel. We're ready to do the group one. So she took a photo with us and we were so excited. And that was like the opening of the first night. And I was just like ready to go. It was just so amazing. And Keishelle, who is also from the Bahamas, she's one of the coaches for Rachel Rodgers. She's one of the big reasons why I felt comfortable of going. And so I was able to connect with her as well. So the whole night in the welcome party was the bomb. So I realized that I have to do an unboxing. Well, unbagging. This is the conference bag from ROI. And then these are the goodies that was in the bag. So there's these snacks. I think I'm going to take those tomorrow. At some point I'm gonna want some snacks. They're all supposed to be like native to Puerto Rico, all natural root chips. So I think I'll eat these tomorrow. I'm gonna take these to my parents. It's a lot of sweets. I'm not eating sweets right now. So I'm gonna just take this. It's another Puerto Rican specialty. This is a cookie. It has coconut in it. I don't eat coconut, so I am definitely giving this to my roommate. And I'm not eating sweet. I don't know what this is, and I'm not very good at so it says Millionaire Summit, and I'm not very good at not tearing things open. So I may come back and tell you what that is. So Rocket Book Flip. This was cool. So ROI Summit, this is the booklet. And so it's like a smart book. So you kind of take notes with this special pen and you can kind of erase them, but you could use an app and then you scan your notes and then they go to Google Drive or to Pages. They kind of match up with a lot of stuff on your phone. So it's like
perfect for those people. Like, I like to write, but I don't want to lose the information. I want the information to quickly be there after. So we'll see how this works. I still have in this conference bag for tomorrow my regular booklet in case I'm just like, no, that's too much. I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna check it out. So give me a minute to tell you what's in here. Okay, this is kind of cool. Input, I'm open to receive feedback from sources that align with my greatest good. All right, ideal. I have a clear vision and path for my notion and a perfect state. I'm just gonna do one more. Imbue. I lend my positive light to those around me. I don't know if they're all I words, but they look like things. Yeah, they're all I words. But so I'm guessing they're just like motivational cards of things that you should be reminding yourself of, which is sort of cool. Like, I've never gotten one of these in a conference bag. I think it's very, you know, on brand with, you know, the millionaire summit of, you know, putting yourself in $1 million mind frame and making $1 million decisions. So that's cool. So that's a conference bag, and we're excited.
So then we went into day 2. We were ready to learn, and Amy Purdy started it off, and she is someone who developed I don't remember what it was, what happened, but like at 19, it was a disease, and she lost both of her legs. And she was a snowboarder, and she wanted to continue snowboarding. And so she was telling her story about how she ended up going to the Olympics and providing all of these opportunities for persons that were in similar situations. She ended up writing a book, ended up just, you know, turning her life around instead of just sitting there saying, I lost both of my legs, my life is over, there's nothing else I can do. And so that was just super inspirational. So what I loved about what was happening on the main stage is there was inspirational stories. You had Rachel talking, there was Amy talking, and then we went to the breakout sessions. But one of the things that happened to me is I got sick on the day of. I started to feel not well, and I had to sit out for like 30 minutes, and I was praying the whole 30 minutes like, God, I want to feel better, I want to feel better, I want to feel better, help me out. So I took some medicine and I laid down for like a half an hour, and then I was able to get back in the game. And that's how I connected with some of the people that I met that day, why I had such a close bond, because I was nowhere to be found for 40 minutes. Everyone had left and gone to breakout rooms, and I was like, when I go back to the room, I know that all of my bag, my phone, and everything is going to be just sitting there, and there's nothing that's going to be, you know, able to do with it. And the people that I had just met a few hours before was like, why would we leave your bag and your phone in an empty room? We just decided to wait here for you. And I was like, friends for life, friends for life. Shout out to Tasia from Toronto. She was just like my best bud the whole time I was there, but it was amazing. So that day we went to breakout sessions, and we went to TikTok breakout session, which was like key information. So I want to give you one tip that I learned from TikTok that I think that was good. Oh, captions. So I always knew that having captions right before you started your video was good, but the algorithm will play to your video more if you have captions before the video, if you have a good caption with SEO words that you write, and then doing closed captions on the video. So 3 types of captions on the video. A caption so that you could read it and tell them exactly what the video is about right before it starts, and the consistency. I always knew the consistency, but 2 times a day, your girl gonna pray about it. Jesus gonna make a way. The next one I went to that day, I think that workshop was on LinkedIn. And I feel like I've been using LinkedIn wrong the whole time. Like, I just can't even give you all of the things that she talked about. But I think my biggest point from her was, when you're developing content and getting ready to do content, we all have stories. You guys are on my channel, I tell stories all the time. So she said, make buckets of 20 to 40 stories that you always go back to, and have those and pull from those stories when you're ready to create content. So just gave y'all a little freebie, and I paid good money this week to learn this information. But I mean, she gave like a ton. It was just, I literally learned like probably 50 new things about LinkedIn that I didn't, and I'm not exaggerating. I am not exaggerating, like 50 new things. So it was amazing. The rest of the night we had off. And so I think that night I decided they had a chat group, like there's an app where you could communicate with everybody. And I got back after dinner and I was just like, I still want to connect. I still want to network. So I go in a chat group and they're like, oh, we're all at this restaurant. So I was like, I should try a local Puerto Rican restaurant before I left. So I took an Uber, met up with some of them at the restaurant. And that was a great experience of just networking and meeting so many people who have different businesses and learning about their businesses and just exploring. So day 3, which was the final day of the conference, was really, really good, because when I say Myron Golden shifted my mindset of how we think about money. Like, he called me all the way out. Like, you can always tell a broke person, because a broke person always says, time is money, baby. And if anybody knows me, I would say time is money all the time. I would consistently say time is money. But I realized, like, I need to stop those kind of talks. Like, those talks are not serving me well. But the mindset shift that happened was just so amazing. Another session we went to was doing retreats. That retreat session was really good because there was another Caribbean woman in that session. And I think in that session is when I learned this point that I want to tell you, that there's a biblical verse and it's a biblical principle where it says a prophet has no honor in his own hometown. So I think when we're trying to build our businesses or make it to, if you're trying to make it on the level of the Millionaire Summit, if you're trying to make them millions and you think that you're gonna make it from, if you live on an island or if you live on a small town, because the lady leading the retreat is from a small town and she said it too, like, your entire audience to be building this business is not there. And so that was just amazing to me for them to put her in the hot seat and go through that process of realizing if you want to build your business to a certain level, you have to go global. You have to find those global clients. And making that shift was something in my mind that I was just like, I am ready to go. I am ready to learn. I then went to a workshop on systems, putting in systems into your business. And that was a good workshop because you could talk about marketing all you want, but if you don't have a system to flow in this audience that you are craving for, then the business is just going to crumble eventually because you don't have systems in order to play it out. So I knew, like she said, it's not a sexy topic like marketing and put your business out there or what's your offer, but it's a needed topic of what are your systems? You want to make $1 million, you want to impact millions of people. What systems do you have in place to actually make that happen? And so there were, I'm going to put those on the screen, the 5, she talks about 5 different systems that you should have within your business that you should focus on. There's sales. I'm not gonna try to name all, but you will see them on the screen. They were powerful. And so there was so much that I learned, so much information that I have to study and keep within me because I think it's gonna be mind-blowing and I think it's going to be life-changing. And I think just even sitting in those rooms and having conversations with people next year, I met this mother and daughter duo and they own a jazz festival in California, and hearing about how they're 3rd generation and how they've been building the business and how their business is a 7-figure business and they're taking it to an 8-figure. I don't think I've ever been in a room or a space with so many Black multimillionaires. It was crazy to be in that space with so many people who are saying like it's possible. And I never was someone like, oh, I want to make a lot of money, but I've always been somebody that wanted to impact a lot of people. But if I don't have the resources to impact a lot of people, you'll still cry broke every day and impact the same amount of people. And that's why I went to ROI. Like, I knew something had to shift. I knew something had to change. I had always known that I was built to touch people globally all over the world. And I just didn't know how. And I felt like ROI was a part of the first steps of making it there. First steps of believing it's possible, because until you surround yourself with people who have done it, it just seems impossible. It just seems like there's no roadmap. It seems like it's never been done. And one of the last panels on the last night was these 3 Black women who are all multimillionaires from building up businesses. And it just was so powerful to see how they had built these businesses, how long they had been on the journey, their mindset, the way that they thought, their backgrounds. It was amazing. And I just wouldn't change anything about the experience. Like, I needed it. It was just a mind shift. It was the mind shift that I needed to happen. Like, one of the things Myron said is that wealthy people think about how to create money. People who are poor or middle class trade their time for money. And as a creator, someone who's been creating things for so long, it made me realize, and one of the things Rachel said is that she would go to these conferences, and when she was trying to build up her business and learn how to build her law firm, she would go to these different conferences to say how to build a business. And she said she would be sitting in the room with these men and she would say, these white men aren't smarter than me. And when you go into those rooms and you realize, like, wait, I have the same intellect and there are people who can benefit from things that I know. I was having a conversation with someone I met and I said, you know what it is? The things that you know seem very common sense, very easy, it just comes natural to me. So you can't fathom that people would pay top money for it. But the reason why we have to fathom that people would pay top money from it is because if we are created for community and all of us have different strengths, the thing that's a strength for you may take me 10 hours or $10,000 that I pay someone else to do, because or all these hours that I wasted time to do when I could have hired you to do it in 15 minutes. It's like a plumber. You're not paying me because I took 15 minutes to fix it. You're paying me for the fact that I knew how to fix it. And I think so many times we get caught up in imposter syndrome of, I can't charge that. I can't create that. It's impossible. But I think the shift that happened for me was, you do have an audience. And my roommate posted on Facebook, don't change your price, change your audience. There's an audience, you just have to find your audience. Don't get upset when someone says that costs too much. Just be like, cool, I'm not for you. I'm not your audience. You know, so it shifted my mind, and I'm so excited for what I'm about to do in my business, how God is just moving in me and everything that's happening and everything that I learned. ROI was just definitely an experience that I would never forget. So if you're a business owner and you want to level up, you want to get more customers, you want to do better in business, I want you to strongly consider following Rachel Rodgers, looking into ROI Summit next year, because I'm telling you, it was an unforgettable experience.
Okay, Tasia. Yeah. It was a good conference. What do you think was your favorite, like, part of it?
Favorite part? I mean, meeting so many amazing, truly.
Yes.
Feeling very inspired right now.
Yes.
What was your favorite part?
I love that. I love the connection with everybody. I think the mindset shift. I think, and it happened even before I came, but I think meeting so many people, knowing that it was, like, it's possible, it's worth it. And then I think I got an inspiration at A2 in my brain date. I was giving someone advice that I wasn't taking.
Yes. And that light switch.
Yeah, I'm like, you should. Like, you not. Me too. I should do that. You do. But this was an amazing experience.
Yes.
And I really loved it.
It was.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm heading home after an amazing trip. I just gotta say, Puerto Rico owes me nothing. Rachel Rodgers, you owe me nothing.